Welcome to Garv Financial. My name is Garv, and the tutorial is how does a certificate of deposit work. These are components of a certificate of deposit or CD, such as fixed term, fixed interest rate. It's offered by certain financial institutions and it is insured, and I will go over in more detail about each of these four components. Let's talk about the CD's fixed term first. The fixed term CD uses more popular terms such as 3 months, 6 months, 1 to 5 years, and of course there are CDs that have longer lengths. The certificate of deposit's interest rate. The CD rates vary with inflation, so basically it tracks inflation. For example, in a period between 1982 to 1983, we had double-digit inflation and the interest rate fluctuated between 10%, 12% to 13% and so on. Meanwhile, when we had good economic times, the certificate of deposit rates dropped to 3%, 4%, 5%, 6% and so on. As you can see, the interest rate on a certificate of deposit really doesn't get you beyond inflation. However, if you had the foresight and bought 20-year CDs between 1982 and 1983, you would be beating the S&P 500, which has had a historical rate of return of about 11%. Certificate of deposits are offered by, generally, there are three types of financial institutions that offer certificates of deposits, such as banks, credit unions, and thrift institutions. I've included Merrill Lynch to show you that brokerage houses can offer CDs as well. Brokerage houses are either incorporated as banks, own a bank, or are affiliated with a bank through whom they provide you with the CD. Let's look at who insures your certificate of deposit. The two insurers of CDs are the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or FDIC, and the National Credit Union Association, NCUA. While the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation insures CDs that are provided by member banks, the NCAU insures CDs of credit unions. Presently, the single accounts are covered for $250,000 and $500,000 for joint accounts. Remember, each account is insured for those amounts at a different financial institution. For example, you can have 5 single CDs worth $250,000 at Bank of America, but FDIC will insure only up to $250,000 one account because the CDs are located in the same bank. If you had the same 5 CDs opened at different owner banks, not different branches of the same bank, then your 5 certificate of deposits are insured in entirety. These are some important guidelines to know regarding certificates of deposits. CD interest rate guidelines. The larger deposits get better or higher interest rates. If I invest $25,000 in a CD, someone who invests $100,000 will receive a better rate. Also, longer term CDs get higher interest rates, and it depends on the current yield curve as well. Usually, smaller financial institutions attract deposits with higher interest rate payouts than compared to larger financial institutions. Also, personal CDs get a better rate than business CDs because business CDs are for lesser term. Since businesses need cash on a regular basis, business CDs can't have longer terms. Also, a CD not insured by FDIC or the NCAU affords you a better interest rate because the risk is transferred to you. Under this policy, the financial institution, if the financial institution fails, you cannot recoup your money since it wasn't insured. I highly recommend you avoid opening up uninsured certificates of deposits. Before you invest in a certificate, Here are some key facts to know. CDs require a minimum deposit. The highest interest rates are reserved for the higher deposits on most bases. You no longer get a certificate for your certificate of deposit. It's all done electronically in book entry form. Your bank statement shows the progress of your CD, stating the balance and accrued interest. CDs are meant to be held for a fixed term until maturity. Once the term expires, and unless you specify at the opening of the CD will roll over into another fixed term. The CD is insured through the FDIC and NCUA. There is a penalty for early withdrawal, which is usually the interest you would have earned. Avoid opening a CD for long term if you believe you might need the funds. Certificates are conservative investment vehicles for the risk-averse investor. CD interest rates run in parallel with inflation. For example, a CD with 5% interest rate and inflation rate at 5% means that you really didn't make any money. This becomes even more painfully clear when you get taxed on your earnings. Herein, you earn negative earnings. I personally avoid putting my money in CDs. As you can now see, it really doesn't make any sense to do so. My name is Garv. Thank you for watching this tutorial on how does a certificate of deposit work. For more tutorials, please visit garvfinancial.com.